Welcome to the NBA Convo. Today I will be doing my way too early predictions for the NBA season. We're going to start off with 6th Man of the Year, and I think a dark horse for that award can be Emmanuel Quickly. I believe a player is defined by their latest performance, and the last time we saw Emmanuel Quickly play, he had a 34-point triple-double. Passing improved, and I think it will keep on improving. It went from 2 to 3. If he could get it to 5, and if he can get his efficiency up, he will be dangerous for 6th Man of the Year. I also think if the Knicks are a successful team, that will help him. Of course, I don't like how narrative plays a part, but of course it does. It has to. Of the year, it has to be Jordan Poole. Coming off a championship year, I only think he'll improve. He was supposed to, maybe he wasn't supposed to win most improved, but he was definitely a candidate, and I think he'll keep on improving. I hope he can stay in this bench role though, because the Warriors were injured last year. Of course, Clay was out for the first half of the year, then Steph got injured against the Celtics. So I hope he can stay in that bench role because that's where he fits the best. And I also hope he can improve his defense because a good 6-man also closes, but Jordan Poole cannot close with the Warriors. Poole is just too much of a defense liability to close, especially with Steph on the floor, because those two are just going to get hunted for mismatches all night long. That's why, Jordan Poole, I think he only averaged 50 minutes per game in the finals. You don't want that from your 6-man. I do think he'll improve though. It's all about the IQ for him. I think he's a pretty long guy. His arms are long. And he's 6'4", so he's bigger than most guards on the floor in the NBA nowadays. It's all about the IQ for him. Draymond hopefully can teach those young guys like Jordan Poole, Kuminga, Moses Moody. On to most improved player, and for my dark horse candidate, I have Isaac Okoro of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think if he can start hitting his corner threes well, he already plays pretty good defense, improve his defense even more, and becomes maybe just an off the dribbles threat, which is really what they need. And they might get that with Colin Sexton, but the thing is, Colin Sexton isn't as good of a defender as Isaac Okoro is. And you don't want to put everything on Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, because as we see with Rudy Gobert, that doesn't work. You can't just put everything on your bigs. It just doesn't work. Evan Mobley, of course, is a versatile big like Rudy Gobert, but it's still, don't put everything on your bigs. I think, if he can play good defense, hit a corner three, become an off-the-dribble threat, he could definitely win Most Improved Player. But the guy I think is going to run away with it by a mile is Tyrese Halliburton. Part of it depends on whether or not the Pacers are a successful team. Now, do they want to be a successful team? Probably not. I truly believe Tyrese Halliburton can lead the Pacers to at least a play-in spot. At least. Maybe even better. They still have Buddy Hield. They still have Miles Turner. For some reason, they haven't been traded yet. So it's just all about letting the young guys play. And Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, and just seeing what happens, because we saw the Cavs recently. They were a top 3 seed before injury, and they almost made the playoffs. These super young teams are starting to just dominate. We've seen it with Luka. Luka's 4th-year player took his team to the Western Conference Finals. Trae Young, he did the same. We've seen young players getting better and better. I don't think we've seen this in any other part of NBA history. Well, Bill Russell led his team to the finals as a rookie, but that's Bill Russell. Now we're getting to the most interesting awards. Defensive Player of the Year. My dark horse. Maybe it's not a dark horse, but it's Rudy Gobert. It has to be Rudy Gobert. He's on a new team now, and I think if the Timberwolves just all of a sudden become a top 3 seed, we're finally going to see just how impactful Rudy Gobert is again. We haven't seen it in a long time because all we see in our minds is the playoffs. The Clippers, Terrence Mann dropping 40 on him, even though he's in the paint and he has to help because his teammates don't know how to navigate through a screen. If you can't tell, I'm a big Rudy Gobert fan. He's had the most responsibility of any defensive player in history. That Jazz team just said, we're going to put a bunch of offensive only players and Royce O'Neal, who's a big pretender, and there's your defender. They can't defend anyone. They can't navigate through screens. Rudy Gobert has to switch everywhere. Even though Rudy Gobert can switch, do you really want Rudy out there? Really? You want him out there guarding Steph Curry, Luka Doncic? There was still a positive impact with him on the floor though. even like though the offensive rating, like even though they were getting completely cooked by the Mavs in the playoffs, Jalen Brunson was cooking them, they were still a better defensive team with Rudy on the floor than off the floor. Small ball didn't work. The only reason why small ball was better than Rudy on the floor was because at least they could score more. I think that's a big problem with Rudy, but you got Cat, you got Anthony Edwards, you got D'Angelo Russell, you got these guys that can score, that can pass to Rudy, Donovan Mitchell averages 2 passes a game to Rudy, but of course we're talking about defense here. And I think defensively, Rudy can focus on defense. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he averages single digits on offense, on like single digit points on offense, because he can focus on defense and rebounding, which is really important. Like, I don't think forcing him to be a lob threat, forcing him to be a post-up threat, that diminishes his defensive game. If he can stay healthy though, the defensive player of the year for 2023 will be Draymond Green. I think even though he missed like 40 games this year, he should have already been defensive player of the year this year or last year, whatever, just because of how well he anchored that Warriors defense. I think that's why he deserves a max though. He's asking for a max. He does deserve it. Now, will he get it? Well, with all the young players, I think they deserve priority, but he does deserve it. And if he does leave, I don't blame him, because he can definitely get paid somewhere else. Rookie of the year. My dark horse is Dyson Daniels. I know it's a surprising name, but I think he's a really underrated pickup for the Pelicans. 6'8". They're going to talk about Zion playing small ball 5. I think Dyson Daniels could play small ball 5. I've heard stories of him vertical blocking, full-on centers. He's a versatile defender, great playmaker, and I think he'll only improve. I don't know if he'll improve this year on his shooting. That's one of his flaws. Maybe his only flaw is shooting. And I think the Pelicans have one of the best shooting doctors in the league. And Dyson Daniels does have potential out of this world if he can learn how to shoot. For the safe pick though, I'm going to go Paolo Banchero for Rookie of the Year. I think Paolo Banchero is exactly the sort of player the Magic needed. A superstar type player. They've had good players on their team like for so long. Since like they traded Vucevic, they've had like Markelle Fultz, they drafted Jalen Suggs, they had Franz Wagner, Mo Wagner. Like, these are all genuinely good NBA players. Mo Bamba, Jonathan Isaac, 2K legend though. But they've never really had, the glue to put it all together. It's like they tried to put it all together with their saliva and it didn't work. They needed a true glue, and I think that glue could be Paolo Banchero. I think there are some defensive concerns with Banchero, but I've seen clips of him when he does put in the effort, he will defend. I think that's why I would have wanted to see him in like a Dwayne Casey with the Pistons. Not only is he paired with Cade Cunningham, which would have been deadly, he would have been forced to play defense. He'll definitely have Mo Bamba or John Isaac on the back line. I think if Paolo plays to his fullest potential, the Magic are another contender for like the play-in. Them, the Pacers, I think the East is going to be very competitive this year. More competitive than it was last year. MVP. I think a true dark horse for MVP this year, his stock is at an all-time low because of injury. Zion Williamson. Will he have his same scoring averages that he did in his second year? 27 on like 60% shooting? I don't think he'll have those same scoring numbers, but I do think if the Pelicans are like a top 3 seed, which they definitely could be, this team is super deep. You saw the run they made without Zion. Took the Suns, the Suns are frauds, but they took the Suns to 6. Like, it took CP3 to go 14 for 14 from the field for them to win. There's super potential with this team. And I think Zion, like we previously mentioned with Banchero, maybe he's the glue. I think the Pelicans did have some glue, but they didn't have a full glue, a super glue. And Zion is Superman. However, my real pick for MVP has to be Giannis Antetokounmpo. It has to be. Just because of his mentality and how he approaches the game, he will always be in MVP contention. There was a quote recently of him saying, "Don't call me the best player in the world," because he doesn't want to hear that. He wants to keep working. Even though he might be, and he is in my opinion, the best player in the world, he wants to keep working. He wants to work towards the goal of another championship, maybe another MVP, individual, team, whatever. I think he is the ultimate winning player in the NBA. He will do whatever it takes to win. He will be a team player. He will score 50 if he has to. Like I think he had a 40 and 20 game these past playoffs. Like, come on, man. That's video game stuff. He's the best two-way player in the game by a mile. I think the only guy that competes for that is Kawhi Leonard. And we don't even know if Kawhi will be the same after he comes back from injury. I think his shooting will only improve. His mid-range was like one of the best in the league. And I think that will only improve with time. He's just going to keep improving every year because he doesn't enjoy his summers. He doesn't have fun during the summertime. He works. He works and works and works to get to that goal of a championship, of an MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player. Like, he's won all these awards. Finals MVP. If you did enjoy my way too early predictions, please leave a like, please subscribe. I've been working on this for like an hour now, 2 hours. So I would really appreciate it. Share it around. And yeah, I'll see you later.